In October 2019, a fight broke out between two women outside the Waco Gentlemen's Club in Jacksonville, Florida. The altercation ended abruptly when a bystander pulled out a gun and fired 5 shots, nearly hitting several onlookers. Chaos ensued as the crowd scattered, trying to avoid the bullets. Witnesses identified the shooter as 18-year-old dancer Ava Morin. However, the police faced a significant challenge. They had no idea where Ava was. To gain insight, they decided to interview witnesses, starting with one of the women involved in the fight. The detective began the interview with a straightforward tone. "There's no secret why we're here. You've got visible injuries, and patrol officers were called to the scene last night. I need your version of what happened. Cooperation is all I'm looking for." The woman hesitated, clearly nervous. "Okay, so here's what happened. Autumn Brumfield, that's the girl I fought, showed up at my ex's house. I was hanging out there with Matthew Collins, my ex, and another girl. I didn't even know her. We were just talking, even chatting with his mom. Then Autumn pulled up with 2 cars. One was a white Acura and the other a Kia Soul. She paused before continuing. I'm not going to lie, I confronted them. I walked up to the Kia and slammed the door shut, hard enough to break someone's foot if it had been there. That's when a guy in the car pulled a gun on me. I froze. What else could I do?" She explained that, despite the gun being pulled, she and her friends followed Autumn and her group to a location behind the sports academy. "When we got there, we fought. The first round ended, and I even changed out of my work clothes before we went at it again. During the second round, one of their people pulled me off Autumn, and suddenly, shots were fired. Boom, boom, boom." The woman described the chaos. "I didn't even see what happened at first. I was still on the ground, covering my face. When I got up, I noticed a bullet hole in their car windshield, but the girl who fired the shots was gone. She ran fast, like, really fast. I don't even know her name. She was just someone who showed up with Autumn." The detective interjected, asking, "So you're telling me someone on your side and someone on their side both pulled guns and exchanged fire?" She nodded hesitantly. "Yeah, but I don't know who the girl was. I just met her that day." The detective pressed further. "Have you talked to anyone on their side since the fight? Seen anything on social media?" "Just what Autumn posted. She was saying she got jumped and her car was shot. She even posted videos of our fight but deleted them later. People sent me screenshots, though." The detective leaned in. "Listen, we have surveillance footage of everything that happened. I know the girl who ran, and I know you're familiar with her. Lying won't help you. It'll only make things worse. Right now, we're looking at an attempted murder charge. If you want to avoid being wrapped up in this, it's time to tell the truth." The woman swallowed hard, clearly shaken. The detective gave her a moment to process before continuing. "We're going to step out for a minute. When we come back, I'll need you to start being honest. Detective, when you first sat down on that chair, what were you deleting on your phone?" "Elena, the video of us fighting." Detective, "But I still have it." Elena, Okay. Detective, "So, the girl is Ava Morin." "We know." Elena, "Okay, we know who she is." Detective, "So, the girl is Ava Morin. Do you know her?" Elena, "Okay, we do hang out sometimes." Detective, "Where does she live?" Elena, "I don't know exactly. She lives out in Jacksonville, that I do know 100%. She is a stripper at Waco's." Detective, "If you want her complete address." Elena, "Yeah, this is the crucial part for you. You're going to need to help us figure out where she's at." Detective, "Okay." Elena, "Immediately, like right now." Detective, "So, write it down, and I'll send somebody over there." Elena, "I know for a fact she's working at Waco's right now." Detective, "She's not there right now." Elena, I just left there. Detective, she literally just called me today and told me she was working a double. Detective, she lied to you because we just left there. Elena, okay, so. Detective, but you said if I wanted her complete address. Elena, you interrupted me. Detective, go ahead. Elena, I do have her complete address. Detective, where is it? Elena, it's on my phone. Detective, okay, let me get your phone. Elena admits to deleting video footage of the fight from her phone. She could be charged with tampering with evidence. At this point, the detectives just want Ava's address to locate and charge her with attempted murder. Elena, yeah, I love her, but it's not enough for that. I wouldn't. Detective, don't apologize. Elena, well, it's not like I love her, but it's not enough for that. Detective, while he's filling that out, can you pull the address up for me? Elena, yes, sir. Detective, and please do not delete anything. Elena, no. Here. Detective, I'm going to give that to them. Detective, here's the question. Now that we're being truthful, nobody else fired shots except her, right? Elena, that's honest. That's the honest truth. Detective, okay, because what I've got is your video and their video. Detective, their video shows the other side, and for every shot that can be heard, the only person you see shooting is her. Elena, no, that is true. Detective, so, where the attempted murder comes in is there was somebody sitting in the passenger seat of that car when the bullet went through the windshield. Elena, that's what they're saying? Detective, yeah. Elena, there was nobody in the car. Detective, how do you know? Elena, when I got up, I saw the hole. Detective, yeah, you saw the hole. Do you know who was in that car? Elena, Olivia Grace or whatever her name is. Leah Hope. Autumn Brunfield. They were in the back. Detective, okay. Elena, and Elise Leopard and her boyfriend. Detective, right. Elena, there were 4 people. Detective, okay. Elena, they were all out of the car. Detective, according to them, this is their story. Elena, I have the video, but you don't have the video of the car. Detective, right, but it comes down to your word against theirs, right? The detectives continue questioning Elena to piece together the events of the shooting. They later involve another witness, Matthew, who is called in to corroborate Elena's story. Both are asked to be truthful as the investigation unfolds. Detective Ikena, Elena, has anyone ever read you your constitutional rights before? Elena, what do you mean? Detective Ikena, I mean, do you know what that means? Elena, not really. Detective Ikena, all right, let me break it down for you. Do you know what Miranda rights are? Like in TV shows, where they say, you have the right to remain silent? Elena, oh, that? Yeah, I've seen that before. Detective Ikena, exactly. Those rights are there to protect you. They give you control in this conversation. You don't have to answer anything you don't want to. This is your opportunity to speak for yourself, not let anyone else speak for you. Elena, okay. Detective Ikena, all right, so we're here to talk about the fight that happened behind Academy Sports. Can you tell me your version of what happened? Elena, yes, sir. So, my friend Alanis and I were over at her ex-boyfriend Matt's house yesterday. We were just hanging out, swimming in his pool. He's got a really nice one. Anyway, his ex-girlfriend, Autumn, called him while we were there. Detective Ikena, Autumn is his ex? Elena, yeah, they've been on and off. Their relationship is all over the place. When she found out there were other girls at his house, she lost it. Detective Ikena, what did she do? Elena, she started texting him like crazy. He has all the messages. She said she was going to be there in 5 minutes. His parents were home too, so it was super awkward. About an hour later, she showed up with 2 cars full of people. Detective Ikena: 2 cars? Elena: yeah, both packed with people. Alanis and I were standing in the driveway like, what the hell is going on? We told Matt to get them to leave because it was disrespectful to show up like that at his parents' house. Detective Ikena: and then? Elena: one of the guys in their group, he was in a boxy Kia, pulled a gun on me and Alanis. He said if we got closer, he'd shoot. Detective Ikena: what was your reaction? Elena: honestly, we were just trying to get them to leave. We didn't even know why they were there. But Alanis got really mad after that. Detective Ikena: what did Alanis do? Elena: she and Autumn ended up fighting. They're both 18, so it wasn't like it was illegal or anything. During the second fight, I got too close, and Autumn didn't like it. She started beating Alanis, so I pulled her off. That's my friend. I wasn't going to let her get jumped. Detective Ikena: did anything else happen during the fight? Elena: yeah, one of Autumn's friends tried to jump me. I wasn't about to let that happen. Detective Ikena: and what did you do next? Elena: look, I know there's a video of this, so I'm just going to be honest. I had a gun. I pulled it out and told them to back off. Detective Ikena: did you fire the gun? Elena: yes, I fired 1 round into the air. Detective Ikena: why did you do that? Elena: they kept coming at me, and I wasn't going to let them hurt me. Detective Ikena: how many rounds did you fire? Elena: at least 5. Detective Ikena: did you aim at anyone? Elena: no, I aimed at the car. Detective Ikena: so you didn't point it at a person? Elena: no, I didn't. Detective Ikena: where's the gun now? Elena: I dumped it in Black Creek. Detective Ikena: we found the casings. It's a 9mm. Does that sound right? Elena: yeah, that's right. Detective Ikena: okay. Your story lines up so far, and I appreciate you being cooperative. Let's go over everything again. I'll draw a little sketch, and you can help me place where everyone was. Does that work for you? Elena: sure. Detective Ikena: great. So after the fight, where did you go? Elena: we left Academy and went straight to Middleburg. Detective Ikena: did you take a park road or the main road? Elena: we took the back road out that way. Detective Ikena: and where were you standing when you fired the shots? Elena: I stepped back about 10 feet. She was still coming at me. Detective Ikena: what happened after the shots? Elena: when we drove off, I heard Autumn was walking around, picking up the casings. Detective Ikena sat quietly, his sharp gaze focused as the interview began. The suspect, Elena, sat across from him, her demeanor calm but her nervous glances giving away her unease. So, Detective Ikena started, voice steady, whenever you drove off this way, what happened? Elena leaned back in her chair, hesitating before she began to recount everything. So then, whenever they did this, this is what happened. When we drove off and went this way, they went like this, circled around, and then they stopped. Then she got out of the car. I was like, wait, what are they doing? Are they dropping her off? And then I realized no, she was putting up bullet casings. Detective Ikena took notes as Elena continued. She was walking around pulling up the bullet casings, and then the car moved. I guess they parked it there. I'm assuming it was roughly in the same spot because it's kind of like where you drew on the map. Ikena nodded, reviewing his notes as Elena carried on. So when I went back to the scene, what we found was a bullet hole here on the building, one here, one up here, and one through the back window. Elena paused for a moment, her voice lower now. I asked everybody before, when y'all left and went to some park or something. Was there a point when you thought you might have hit somebody? Yes, but I knew I didn't know. I mean, my intention wasn't to kill anyone. That girl, she's like a hood girl. She thinks she's a hood type. I was just trying to scare her. I don't like that, though. Detective Ikena raised his brow at her words but said nothing, letting her continue. The point I'm trying to make is that when this shot came up through the back window, from what we gathered, it seems like they were hiding in front of the car. That's what everybody says. Detective Ikena leaned in, pen poised. Sounds about right? Elena hesitated, glancing down. I didn't see anybody else, but I did see her. I saw her crouched down on the side. I guess they had circled around the front. If you're firing that way, it goes through the back window. You got one here, and then a couple of shots above. Ikena's voice was sharp but calm. That's attempted murder, Elena. Isn't it? I don't know, she said, taking a shaky breath. I second-guessed myself. I don't know. Detective Ikena leaned back, giving her a moment. Who was the girl crouched over there? Autumn. Elena sighed heavily. Yes, that was her. And when we left, I chunked the gun. I threw it into the creek. Not by the bridge, but it was near Black Creek. A little swimming hole down there. I knew it wasn't a good situation. He raised his hand, halting her for a moment. You threw the gun there? Yes, sir, she said. Near Black Creek. Detective Ikena's voice was calm and steady, not letting her shift the narrative. We tracked down Alana and Elena. We knew her car was used at the time. And then we found this strange film all over it. What is that? Bleach. Elena shifted again, her voice defensive. Yes. I wiped it down with bleach. I was worried about gunpowder on the car. I didn't want to involve anyone unnecessarily. I even told Matt and Alice that they didn't do anything. They were fine. I'm the one who did this. They were fighting, but I should have never fired. Detective Ikena noted this. Elena, that's a big confession you're making. Not only were you firing in the direction of people, but you fired with the intention to intimidate, correct? Elena looked down, visibly shaken now. Yes. I don't think I meant to hurt anyone. I didn't know what I was thinking. Ikena pressed the issue further. Tell me about this picture. Who's in it? Elena glanced at the evidence camera as Detective Ikena placed the image in front of her. Me. And what am I holding? A gun. And who's in the picture with you? Ikena asked. Anissa's boyfriend, Elena said. And what are you doing? Shooting the gun off. First round in the air. Detective Ikena's pen scratched furiously. What about this second image? Elena, what are you doing here? Pointing it at the girl. Elena was silent for a moment. I didn't mean to. It wasn't supposed to go that way. I didn't intend to harm anyone. Detective Ikena leaned back in his chair again, folding his arms. His words cut through her words like sharp daggers. You say that, but you pointed the gun at her. Do you think you can pinpoint where you threw that gun? Elena hesitated again. I threw it, as far as I could into the creek. I think it's still there, but I can't be sure. I'm not lying. Ikena gave her a piercing stare. Elena, you've been completely honest with us so far. I appreciate that. But we're going to send the dive team to confirm the location. You understand that? Yes, sir, Elena said. The interview concluded. The investigation proceeded. Elena would later face serious charges for her actions. She was charged with 3 counts of attempted murder, as 3 people were in the direction she had fired her weapon. Elena would eventually plead guilty and was sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison. If she behaved herself, she could be released in 10 years. If not, she would serve a full maximum of 15 years. Detective Ikena closed the case with this in mind, reflecting on the weight of her actions and how they would forever impact the lives of those involved. What do you think about this case? Did Elena get the sentence she deserved? Share your thoughts in the comments below.